Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this first meeting of the Public Safety Committee of 2026 session to order. The clerk will open the roll. Members will indicate their presence on the electronic voting board for attendance. I think we have a quorum. I know it's early and it's Friday. All right. Has everybody got a chance? Is it Delegate Anderson? It's not working. It's the green one on the upper left? Yeah. Okay.
I promise. It's okay to push no.
That's not true. All right. I would note that Delegate Cousins and, Delegate Anderson and Delegate Adams are here, and so a quorum is present. So we're going to go ahead and get things started. So we've got a fairly brief agenda here. I normally would start with introductions, and then as people fill in, we'll come back to them and have them introduce themselves. I'm going to start on my left with my vice chair, and then we'll move down the dais. And if you guys would, I know we have a lot of new members to the General Assembly and also to this committee. So if you just take a minute to tell us where your district is. The district number is great, but most people don't understand what that means anyway. So tell us where your district is, and if you've got any special interest or background in public safety that you'd like to share with the subcommittee as well, all in under 15, 18 seconds or so. Not that we're being precise. Delegate McClure.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate Adele McClure. I represent the 2nd House District, which encompasses parts of Arlington. And my interest in this is specifically, I'm very proud to serve on the Firearms Subcommittee. I am a responsible gun owner.
You don't know that yet.
Oh, I hope to serve on the Firearms Subcommittee.
Good morning, everyone. Delegate Patrick Hope. I represent the 1st District, which is part of Arlington County, my neighbors to my right. And I was the former chair of this committee, and I believe I've been on this committee for 15 years.
Good morning, Delegate Sam Rasool, representing the non-urban crescent contingency of the Democrats up here. Good to be with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's been a long off season. We're all getting caught up. It's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Delegate Tony Wilt, represent the 34th House District, the city of Harrisonburg, and a portion of Rockingham County. I've been on this committee since I first came into the House, and I've had the privilege to chair it as well. Thank you.
Delegate Michael Weber, the 61st District, Fauquier, Culpeper, and Rappahannock counties. And I think I'm maybe a year behind Hope on how long we've been on the committee. But
I'm Dolores Oates. I serve the 31st District, which is Warren County, half of Frederick County, and all of Clark County, and I've served on this committee for 2 years.
Eric Phillips, serve the 48th District, which is Pittsylvania County, Henry County, City of Martinsville, and this will be my second term on this committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Eric Zier, representing Campbell, Bedford, and Pennsylvania counties, and I have served on this committee for 2 minutes.
Good morning, Mitchell Cornett, representing the 46th District, Olive Grayson, Smith, and Wythe counties, and a portion of Pulaski County. I also have some experience in public safety as I'm a paramedic and a firefighter.
Good morning, Karen Hamilton, District 62, which represents all of Greene and Madison counties, most of Culpeper, and half of Orange. Happy to be here.
All right, let's go back over to the other end, and we'll start with Delegate Anderson.
Yes, I'm Jessica Anderson, the House Delegate for the 71st District, which is all of the city of Williamsburg, majority of James City County, and the eastern side of New Kent. And I am a proud daughter-in-law of a fire and EMS chief of staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate Kimberly Pope Adams, representing the 82nd District. That's parts of Dinwiddie County, all of the city of Petersburg, parts of Prince George County, and all of Surrey County. And I am a responsible gun owner and a concealed carry permit holder.
Hey, good morning, y'all. Delegate Michael Fagans, proudly representing House District 97 within Virginia Beach, 20-year Air Force veteran, and this is my second session on this committee.
Good morning, Delegate Josh Thomas, 21st District, which is Western Prince William County, and I am a Marine Corps veteran.
Good morning, I'm Elizabeth Bennett Parker. I represent the 5th District in Alexandria. Good morning, I'm Delegate Holly Siebold. I represent the 12th District, which is the eastern part of Fairfax County. Happy to be back this year. This is my 4th year serving on this committee.
Good morning, Nadarius Clark, representing the 84th District, parts of Suffolk, Chesapeake, all of Franklin, and part of Isle of Wight. So if you're in Carsville, Windsor, Carrollton, or Smithfield, I'm your guy. And this is my 5th year on this committee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alfonso Lopez. I represent the 3rd District, which is parts of South Arlington and parts of Alexandria. And I've served on this committee since 2012.
And we have a short timer over there.
Yes. Good morning. I am Delegate Candy for the next 6 hours. I'm Delegate Candy Munden King representing Prince William and Stafford counties, and this is my last day on this committee.
All right. Well, I am Delegate Marcus Simons, y'all. I'm your chair. This is my 3rd year, I guess, chairing this committee. I was on this committee, one of my very first committees in 2014 when I first came into the General Assembly. And it is a privilege to chair this important committee. Just a couple of introductory remarks before we get into our agenda. This committee deals with issues that I think a lot of people are very passionate about, and it does bring out a lot of fervor in its testimony. We do our very, very best to make sure that everyone who comes and presents before the committee, everyone who comes to testify has an opportunity to be heard. I think it's really valuable that we're as transparent as possible as we go through these processes. And again, not everybody is going to get the outcome that they want in front of the committee, and that's natural and that's going to happen. But I do want everyone who comes before it to feel like their position was understood by the members of the committee, that they were heard, and that we were thoughtful about the decisions that we made. So even if it doesn't go their way, they respect the process that we went through to arrive at the decisions that we did. We will do our best again to make sure that everybody who comes has an opportunity to speak and be heard, but we will have to set some limits. This is a very busy committee. We've already had 25 bills assigned to us so far, and I know the Speaker's office is just getting started in its assignments. The other thing I'm going to say is that, again, as much as we want to make sure every bill and every patron gets a fair hearing and an opportunity to present their case, we have some fiscal constraints, because a lot of what we do in front of this committee results in creating new crimes or expanding crimes or has corrections implications for folks. And so those of you who've been around for a while understand that we have a rule that says if that's the case, we've got to assign a fiscal impact to that, and then it's got to go through appropriations. I know that Chairman Hope at Courts and I and Chairman Torian are going to have a conversation about how much money is available for those impacts, and there are going to have to be some decisions made about how much we can afford to do in any given session. And so that's also going to play a factor in what gets heard. So some bills that may be great ideas and might have a lot of merit to them, but may not be things that we can afford to do right away, won't get the same priority as those things that we've set up to do that way. So don't get your feelings hurt if we find that this may not be the year for your bill, but that doesn't necessarily mean we don't agree with what you're trying to do. So that's how we'll run things going forward. We're going to have 2 subcommittees, and we'll announce those a little bit later on in our meeting. But for today, our agenda is to introduce we'll get a couple people that came in late. So we'll finish up with the introductions, and then we'll hear from our new nominee to be the Secretary of Public Safety. But first, let's hear from Delegate Helmer. Do you want to just tell us where you represent and your background in public safety?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Delegate Dan Helmer. I represent the 10th District in Southwest Fairfax County, and this will be my 4th or 3rd time going around on public safety. So.
All right, and I think with Delegate Cousins here, we have a full roster. Delegate Cousins, give you a second to get settled, or go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I am Delegate Ray Cousins. I represent the 79th District, which covers some parts of Richmond.
All right.
Oh, it is Stuart.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're going to hear from Stuart Mader, who is I'm sorry? Stanley. Did I say Stuart? I'm sorry. He changed his name. It's the Senator Stewart, Senator Stanley thing. It gets me confused. Anyway, Mr. Mader, if you want to go ahead and come on up and introduce yourself a little bit. I know you've been nominated to be the Secretary of Public Safety, which is obviously corresponds with the jurisdiction of this committee. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe some things you hope to accomplish in this role.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
It is a great opportunity to be here today to introduce myself and connect with many of you. I think for perspective, it might be helpful for the committee if I go back just a little bit and give you some background of how I arrived into this position. I am a native of Southwest Virginia, having grown up in Galax, Virginia, and I am the product, in addition to the values and my upbringing that I learned growing up in Southwest Virginia, I'm the product of a state-sponsored youth program out of the Department of Education when I was 16 years old. And that program, sponsored, that came under the Department of Education at that time, taught teenagers, young people, how to make a difference in their schools and how to make a difference in the community. More importantly, it taught us that in addition to just knowing we can make a difference, knowing that it was our responsibility to take advantage of those opportunities to make that difference. And that is a value that was instilled in me at an early age and something that I carried with me as I grew up. It was those same contacts, that same network that I established at that conference that when I graduated from Roanoke College with a degree in criminal justice, helped me secure my first internship with the Department of Criminal Justice Services here in downtown Richmond. And it was, again, after having completed that internship, it was those same contacts that helped me secure a job as a special agent with the Virginia Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, where I served for almost 6 years. 3 years in the Stanton Regional Office with a great team there before transferring to Northern Virginia and serving out of the office was in Alexandria at that time, serving in Northern Virginia for almost the next 3 years. And while I had applied in August of 2001 to become an FBI special agent, it was serving as a first responder to the Pentagon on 9/11 that drove my continued commitment and resolve to doing all I could to protect people. And to ensure, most importantly, having seen that tragic event up close and personal, that I did my part to ensure that something like that never happened again. And what followed was what for me has been a remarkable career, a 23-year career with the FBI that is taking me to the northwest, to the southwest, to the northeast, to the mid-Atlantic, and to parts around the world, bringing me back to a leadership role here in the Commonwealth, which for me, granted it took me nearly 20 years to get home, was a wonderful opportunity because it allowed me to connect with people that I had worked with 25 years prior and to connect with people in the community that helped me get to where I was, where I am today. So I was able in that leadership role leading the FBI Richmond Field Office here, given the opportunity to connect with state, local, federal law enforcement across the Commonwealth, to do my part to make a difference in that space, to connect with the important private sector partners that we need to have a relationship with, and also to connect with the community. I believe that in law enforcement is not an us versus them environment. It is a collaborative effort between us and the community that we must always be working to build trust with the communities that we serve. With that brief introduction, I look forward to working with you moving forward and open to any questions that you may have that I might be able to answer for you.
All right, well, thank you. We really look forward to working with you and serving with you. If folks have questions, just one more sort of reminder about protocol here in the General Assembly is that if you have questions for the Secretary Designee, by all means you can ask them, but please direct them through the chair, right? So if you'll address the chair and then he'll hear you and respond, and I'm sure you'll respond through the chair. And then that's how we'll do things going forward, as we have a lot of people that will come testify before us on various bills and things like that. We like to move things through the chair. And also, please use your request to speak buttons, which is on the lower right-hand side of your console. And I see a couple of the veterans have already figured out how to do that. And I will start with recognizing Delegate Hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the Secretary Designee being here. Congratulations on that. I know it's very early, and I sort of want to put some things out that are of my interest. You talk about trust in the community, and one of the things that I want to see if the Secretary Designate has considered going into the job of Secretary of Public Safety and Homeland Security. You oversee the Department of Corrections. and just talking about trust and thinking about correctional officers. I know there's been some issues with hiring and staffing, paying them fairly. They're losing attrition rates really high and things like that. Some interest of mine and some other members of the committee is solitary confinement or restrictive housing and things like that. So I'm just wondering if you have given that any thought. You know, we haven't named I guess a director of the Department of Corrections, but you oversee that. And so I'm wondering if you would give any thought to that, because I think you go back to your previous statement about trust. That's something that we want to see come out of the Department of Corrections, and I'd just like to get your reaction to some of those concerns that have really been boiling over the last several years.
Certainly. Mr. Chairman, Delegate Hope, I appreciate the question. I think when I have looked across the Secretariat, I think that recruitment and retention is a consistent theme that I see in several agencies across the Secretariat, and specific to DOC. I do look forward to the governor-elect's leadership selections there and working with new leadership moving forward in that space. Because for me, you know, one thing that's very important is, especially from a staffing perspective in DOC, is there's officer safety and there's inmate safety. They're both a priority. And so when I look at that space moving forward, I'm looking forward to having those conversations on things that are working and doing that assessment as to what we can do better in that space, because it has to be a priority.
All right. Delegate Wilt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I think it'd be remiss on our part and for citizens of Virginia if we didn't go back to your previous role in FBI here in Richmond and the internal memo that was released, and you know what that was entailed. And so my question for you is, what did you learn from that experience? How has that shaped you in who you are personally and professionally going forward, and especially as it will relate to your new position?
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Wilt, specific to that question, I would refer back to note for the committee in the event that you've not heard of this or seen this before, but I would refer back to the Office of Inspector General report. This has been reviewed exhaustively, and in that report you will find that there was no malicious intent, no wrongful purpose, no bias, no targeting of religion, and that is a fully publicly accessible report that anyone can have access to see. I think that what is important when I think about the Secretary's position moving forward is that to the community, you know, if over 28 years, as a law enforcement official over 28 years, I will go back to trust within the community. And it's important, you know, my leadership philosophies are on collaboration and partnerships and getting and making connections to where see something, say something. And I think it's important as a secretary that when we look at those partnerships with the private sector, with the community, that includes partnerships in our faith-based communities as well. We have long seen, it's long been shown, go back no further than 9/11, that there are bad actors who seek justification in religion to commit violent acts and hurt the American people. So it is incumbent upon us to ensure we have those positive working relationships moving forward so that we are as safe as we can be, and we are doing our utmost, putting forth our utmost effort at keeping Virginians safe.
Thank you. Delegate Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I don't have a question. I just would like to state for the record how excited many of my colleagues and I are to work with the Secretary Designee. I don't think it's said enough, particularly from some leadership at the federal level, how important it is that you have that federal FBI experience. We're very excited to have your experience. You have an outstanding record. I say that as a Marine who's worked in combat directly with federal law enforcement agents over in Afghanistan. I know you all do great work, great training, and are some of the unsung heroes that have kept us safe for many, many decades here in the United States and in Virginia. So the Secretary Designee's record speaks for itself. He's a fine American, a fine Virginian. I know many of us in this committee are very excited to work with you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, and Delegate Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. I was just wondering when it comes again to DOC, what your thoughts are. I know currently, basically, they investigate in custody death, whether it's of an inmate or an officer. And I'm not sure I think that's a great thing, frankly. I think that maybe we should have, for the sake of those involved, an outside agency maybe doing that than them investigating themselves. I was just wondering what your thoughts might be on that.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Phillips, I think that moving forward, I think it's going to be important that I work with leadership to get a basic understanding of processes, how we are doing business in DOC to better inform us on processes moving forward. I will refer actually back to the Chairman Simon's comments early on. I believe that the best leaders are informed leaders. I do not believe that when we make decisions, it's what I think is the best way of doing things. I think the most important thing that we can do as leaders is put the right people around the table who have the information, so that when you do make a decision and you move forward, that you do so in an informed process, so that when we be transparent to the public and we be transparent to the Commonwealth, we are able to stand behind why we made that decision and the factors that we took into consideration when we made that decision.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right. Now, we have one more question in the queue, and then I know we've got some other committee meetings coming up this morning, so we'll wrap it up at that. But Delegate Cornett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. I have more of a statement than a question. It seems like the Department of Corrections is going to be a top focus. And for other members of the committee to know, the officer-involved death in the DOC at River North Correctional Center back in November is in my district, and it's going to be top of mind for me, and as I know it is Mr. Mayor. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. Seeing no further questions and nothing else in the queue, Secretary Designee, thank you so much for taking some time this morning to come and speak to us. I'm sure we'll be working a lot together on a lot of these issues, and I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to weigh in and work with all of us. And I appreciate the opportunity to have you stop by my office yesterday and for a lengthier meeting, and look forward to, again, a great relationship going forward. So thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. One final order of business, and then we can get on with our morning. So we have subcommittee assignments. I know that you guys are anxiously waiting to see who gets to do which. I'm going to make one sort of announcement that's a change from last year. So we're going to have two subcommittees, as we have for the last several years. The first subcommittee will be the Firearms Subcommittee. The other subcommittee, we're going to name Subcommittee 2, so that we don't have a public safety. I noticed that tripped up the clerk a number of times, and so we want to make sure that things are a little clearer. So, and that sounded better than the catch-all subcommittee to me. So bear with me for 1 second, because I had it here. All right, here we go. Fortunately, I have a great clerk. Oh, I'm sorry, before we do that, let's let the staff, we introduce the members of the committee. We haven't heard from staff. So Barbara, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quickly, and then we'll go down to the council and the other clerk.
Barbara Teague, I'm the clerk for the committee.
Go ahead.
My name is Anthony Sargent. I'm a legislative attorney. This is my first session here in Virginia, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
All right, Mr. Clerk.
Randy Wright, room clerk.
Britt, go ahead, you're here. I know you may not always be, but.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Britt Olwine, Legal Section Chief with Legislative Services. I staff primarily courts, and this is my 12th session, so good to be with you all.
All right. All right, well, thank you guys. All right, now that give me a second to get my assignments up on my screen, so I appreciate that. All right, so for the Firearms Subcommittee, it will be chaired by Delegate Clark, who will be joined by Delegates Helmer, Lopez, McClure, Munden King, Fagans, and Pope Adams, and Delegates Wilt, Zare, and Oates. So that'll be the Firearms Subcommittee. One more time, that's chaired by Delegate Clark. It's joined by Delegates Helmer, Lopez, McClure, Munden King, Fagans, and Pope Adams, and Delegates Wilt, Zare, and Oates. And these will also be published on LIS not long after the meeting. Subcommittee 2 is going to be chaired by Delegate Rasul. It will be joined by Delegates Siebold, Anderson, Cousins, and Bennett Parker, and Delegates Wiebert and Hamilton.
You actually put me on one this time.
That's right. We missed your input, Delegate Weber. So with that, having no further business to come before the committee, look out for your subcommittee notifications. I expect that we will have subcommittee meetings on Thursday before our Friday meeting next week. And with that, the committee will rise.